Yo, what is up everybody, and welcome back to the Progressive Skills in English Level 2 coursebook. In today's recording we're going to be going over the writing section. Here we have writing celebrations, and in this page right here we're going to be specifically talking about fasting. So fasting as in refraining from eating or drinking for a certain period of time. Okay? There are a lot of different ways to fast, by the way. So here we have 1.9 vocab for writing. We're going to start with a really simple exercise here. Here we have one spelling mistake in each of these words, so we're going to have to rewrite each word correctly. Okay, so what's the first word called, you guys? And can you tell me the mistake? So it's pronounced as ceremony, right? So if I pronounce it with this extra letter here, it'll be ceremony, right? And money, you guys know what money is, so that's wrong. So it's ceremony. That extra E, we don't use that, so it's ceremony and not ceremony. Let me write it down. So we say ceremony, not ceremony. Okay, and here this word is actually missing a silent word letter. Sorry. So two, we have costume, right? And costume has a silent E at the end. So I'm gonna write it like this, not T, costume. Okay. So we have a silent E at the end. Then we have decorate. Decorate is not with an A, it's with an O. So decorate, not decorate, okay? So D-E-C-O-R-A-T, decorate. And then we have exhibition, right? Exhibition, it's actually missing a word. What do you guys think it is? Exhibition. We have an H, so exhibition. Okay, and we have number 5, influence. And influence is with a C and not an S. Okay, you gotta know the difference. So influence. Okay, and then we have occasion. And occasion, here they added an extra S. We don't use double S, so it's only one S. So we'll write occasion, right, like so. Okay, and then we have procedure, right? Again, extra E, so procedure, like so. And then we have ritual, and we don't have the letter E when writing ritual, so it'll be like so. Ritual, R-I-T-U-A-L. Okay, then we have number 9, traditional. Okay, so looking at this from afar, you probably won't notice because it's hidden, but you actually have, what was it? An extra I. As you can see, there's a missing I here, so traditional. So T-R-A-D-I-T-I-O-N-A-L. Okay, traditional. And finally, we have number 10, visitor. Okay, obviously, visitor is with an O, so visitor, like so. Okay, so ceremony, costume, decorate, exhibition, influence, occasion, procedure, ritual, traditional, visitor. Okay, so now let's move to exercise B. Here we have building vocab and knowledge. So complete the text below and use a word from the vocab box in each case and make any necessary changes. So again, we'll read the vocab box first, and this one's going to be a long one, right? So you guys know what to do. Write them down and get that pronunciation right, and then we'll just dive into exercise B. So here we go. Anthropologist, battle, coming of age, die out, fast, fasting, happen, holly, Islamic, largely, practice, practice, primitive, religion, religious, throughout, tradition. Okay, so that was the vocab box, and I'm not going to be able to write exercise B, so we'll have to do this orally. So Now let's complete the text below as we read it along. So, fasting is going without food. Every major religion has asked its followers to, number one will be fast, right? For, what was it? Every major religion has asked its followers to fast. But what's the word that we can use, you guys? That's correct. We can use tradition, right? It's something that's traditional, that goes on yearly, okay? So, but the tradition goes back to primitive societies. Fasting rituals have appeared in all societies. Fasting has two main purposes. Firstly, and what can we say? That's correct. We can say happens, right? Again, we'll add an S. Happens before an important event. For example, in some cultures, a child must fast before the coming of age ritual. You guys remember when we talked about the coming of age and how different places have different rituals and festivals? Let's keep going. So in other cultures, fasting, again, I can use happens, this one's simple, before a hunt or what can we use, you guys? That's correct, we can use battle because we're talking about a war. A war can have one battle, a war can have multiple battles, depends on the war and how long it's going to take. So before a hunt or a battle in a war. Secondly, it is often connected with, what do you guys think? I'd say religious, okay? So the word religious, cleaning of the body. A person is closer to God after fasting, okay? Now let's move on to the third paragraph. Here we have, there are two well-known periods of fasting. The Islamic tradition of fasting is still practiced. What do you guys think the word should be? We'll probably say throughout because it's spread across the Muslim world, right? So, the Christian tradition of fasting during a period called Lent has largely died out. Okay, so now that we talked a little bit about or used the vocab box to find the missing words in this text right here, now this is going to be interesting. Exercise C here, we have using fixed and semi-fixed phrases. So the text above is very simple, but we can add extra information at the beginning or the end of many sentences. That's why you saw me pause a little bit more than usual when reading this. You'll get the idea once we get to exercise C. So where can you add each of the following pieces of information? See the example 6 in the text above. So here we have some phrases or extra pieces of information. So according to anthropologists, according to many religions, we have ancient and modern, at certain times of the year, during the holy month of Ramadan, for a period of time, and finally on the other hand. So see number 6 here. If I go above and say fasting is going without food, right? And if I continue by saying for a period of time, it makes sense, right? So that's how it's going to go. And then we'll probably say every major religion and we'll keep going, okay? So here we have 7 and we're going to add these to the text here. So let's start. So fasting is going without food for a period of time. According to anthropologists, see, now it makes a lot of sense, right? According to anthropologists, so that'll be number 1, every major religion has asked its followers to fast. What do you guys think? We can continue this. What do you guys think we should say? That's correct. We can probably say at certain times of the year, right here, number 4. So, according to anthropologists, every major religion has asked its followers to fast at certain times of the year. But the tradition goes back to primitive societies. Fasting rituals have appeared in all societies. And this one's really simple. You guys should get this. That's right. We can probably say ancient and modern, number 3. So, Fasting rituals have appeared in all societies, ancient and modern. Okay? Fasting has two main purposes. Firstly, it happens before an important event. For example, in some cultures, a child must fast before the coming of age ritual. In other words, or in other cultures, fasting happens before a hunt or a battle in a war. Secondly, it is often connected with religious cleaning of the body. Okay? So now we're going to start a new sentence. So what can I say here? I can say, according to many religions, a person is closer to God after fasting. Instead of saying a person is closer to God after fasting, now that makes a lot more sense actually. So according to many religions, a person is closer to God after fasting. There are two well-known periods of fasting. The Islamic tradition of fasting is still practiced throughout the Muslim world, right? And what can we say after that? That's correct. We use during the holy month of Ramadan, because we all know that in the holy month of Ramadan, Muslims fast. On the other hand, we could also use that. So on the other hand, number 7 here, the Christian tradition of fasting during a period called Lent has largely died out. Okay? So that was the text. Okay, that was exercise C. Now let's move on to the next page. Alright, you guys, so now let's move on to the next page. Here we have real-time writing, and we're going to be talking about a specific festival here, Eid al-Fitr. Okay, so let's start with a simple review vocab. So here we have complete each verb to make a phrase about festivals. So the verb should have a really similar meaning, or to complete the phrase, right? So what do you think we can use as a verb to complete an event? We can say, or perhaps say, celebrate, right? Celebrate an event. 2, we can say, make preparations. Number 3, dash hands. You can say, decorate hands, because you know when people decorate their hands using henna, it's something that's similar to tattoos but not permanent. I think most of people living in the Muslim world know what these are. And then we have 4, dash relatives, C, relatives, right? Festival, I mean, it is a festival after all. So, dash the graves of ancestors. What do you guys think this one is? That's right. Visit the graves of ancestors. And then we have 6, dash through the streets. And this one will be parade through the streets. And we have number 7, dash prayers. We can say prayers, right? So say prayers. 8, give thanks to God. So give thanks to God. 9, dash special clothes. So put on special clothes. And finally we have dash special food. So we have a C, so we can't say eat, so we'll say cook special food, okay? So celebrate an event, make preparations, decorate hands, see relatives, visit the graves of ancestors, parade through the streets, say prayers, give thanks to God, put on special clothes, and cook special food, okay? Now let's go to exercise B here. Here we have the spidergram on the opposite page contains notes for a text about a festival. Okay, so how many sections will the text contain? Why are there 2 events under origins? And can you supply any of the missing information? Okay, so we're actually gonna, before we take a look at the spidergram, we're gonna read the text, right? So you guys can get a better idea of what this certain festival is, and then we'll move on to exercise B in the spidergram. So we have Eid al-Fitr. Introduction. Eid al-Fitr is celebrated in Muslim countries throughout the world. The name means breaking of fast. The festival takes place at the end of the holy month of Ramadan. During the holy month of Ramadan, Muslims fast from sunrise to sunset. Eid al-Fitr lasts 3 days. origins. The first Eid was celebrated in 624 Common Era by Prophet Muhammad and his friends and relatives. Some people believe it was to celebrate the Battle of Badr in a war between Mecca and Medina. Other people say it marks when the Holy Quran was revealed by Prophet Muhammad. Eid al-Fitr today. Before the festival, Muslims decorate their houses and prepare special food. On the day of the event, people get up early and dress in new clothes. They say special prayers in a special place before going home for breakfast. They often give money and gifts to the children. Conclusion: Eid al-Fitr is a very special festival. It is celebrated by Muslims all over the world in various ways that have changed over time. Okay, so now that you got a better idea of what Eid al-Fitr is, now let's go to the spidergram here. Here we have Eid al-Fitr, an introduction, Eid today, and origins. Okay, so let's take a look at exercise B here. How many sections will the text contain? So based on what we just read, we have 4 sections: introduction, origins, Eid al-Fitr today, and conclusion. Okay? And why are there 2 events under origins? So here we have origins in the spidergram, and it has 2 events. And the reason for that is because, people think that it originated differently. So based on history, we have that the first Eid was celebrated in 624 Common Era by Prophet Muhammad and his friends and relatives. However, that's one event, by the way. Some people believe it was to celebrate the battle of Badr in a war between Mecca and Medina. So that's also an event. And other people say it marks when the Holy Quran was revealed by Prophet Muhammad. So the origins are kind of mixed up, right? So that's why we have 2 events. Okay, now let's go to number 3. Can you supply any of the missing information? Okay, so the spidergram, we have quite a few things that are missing. So we talked about the origins. Now let's go to introduction. So where, Muslim countries throughout the world, name, Eid al-Fitr, when, it's usually right after the holy month of Ramadan. So where is it? The festival takes place at the end of the holy month of Ramadan. And how long? Eid al-Fitr lasts for 3 days. Okay? So that was exercise B. I want you guys to take a quick look at the pictures here. These are some illustrations. So the start of Eid based on the moon. Then we have the Eid prayers in Muslim countries, basically all over the world. Henna decorations, fireworks for Eid, and Eid foods. Obviously, people want to enjoy their food after a month of fasting, and some people like to go visit their the graves of their loved ones and pray. Okay? So now, let's go actually to exercise D. We're going to skip exercise C because it requires being in groups, so you guys can just take a look basically, and you guys can write extra information if you want in the spider or to the existing spidergram, or make your own. That's totally fine as well. Okay? Now let's go to exercise D, describing a festival. And this is where it can get interesting, because I want you to write an essay that's similar to this one right here. Right, so Eid al-Fitr, but we're going to be talking about describing an annual festival, so something that happens yearly in one or more countries, right? So you can talk about Christmas, you can talk about Eid al-Adha, for example, you can talk about basically any festival, okay, in one or more countries. Make sure to give specific details of the origins of the festival and the way that it is celebrated today, because as you know, the celebration of festivals can change over long periods of time. Okay? So let's take a look here. Here we have underline the topic sentence in the second paragraph. Okay, so underlining, or usually the first sentence, is the topic sentence of this paragraph. So if we take a look at the second paragraph, we have origins, and if we read, we have the first Eid was celebrated in 624 Common Era by Prophet Muhammad and his friends and relatives. So that's a topic sentence, right? It's about the topic, and it's the first sentence, so you can just underline that. Then we have, can you add any more sentences to give more detail about the origins of the festival? So basically anything from the text. When we actually just answered this. So can you add any more sentences to give extra details about the origins of the festival? Yes, we can. If we say, some people believe it was to celebrate the Battle of Badr in a war between Mecca and Medina. That's, again, extra information. We could also say, other people say it marks when the Holy Quran was revealed to Prophet Muhammad. Okay, so that's also extra information. Okay, but like I said, this is really important. You got to write an essay down. So again, talk about an annual festival, right? And you got to give specific details about the origins of the festival and the way it is celebrated today and in the past, if there's like significant difference, okay? And that'll be good research for you. So before we move on, let's take a look at the vocab box and then we'll move on to the next page. So we have ancestor, break, decorate, dress, gift, grave, last, pray, prayer, social, or social signs. Okay? So now let's move on to the next page. Alright, you guys, so now moving on to the next page. Here we have 1.11, learning new writing skills. So here we have spelling vowel sounds, using fixed phrases to compare events, and ideas using time prepositions. So that's going to be our topic in the next 2 pages. So let's start with developing vocab exercise A. Here we have, which single vowel is missing from each set of words? What is the sound in each word? Okay, so we have some single vowel, right? Or vowels that are missing from each set of words. And what is that sound going to be like when we write it down? So what's number 1, you guys? Or actually in all of these. So that A list, what's it going to be? That's correct. It's going to be A, right? But let's pronounce them together and look at the difference in pronunciation. So we have happen, last. You see the difference? Happen, last, says, and want. Okay? Says and want. Want and says. Okay? Vowels can be the same. Pronunciation can be different. Always keep that in mind. Okay? Then we have list B. What is it going to be? We have E, right? So prepare, special, new, they. Okay? See the difference in my intonation as well? So prepare, special, new, they. Right? Now let's go to C. What is it going to be? That's correct. It's going to be I. So give, festival, like. You see the difference between give and like? Sounds nothing alike, right? So give, like, third, and festival. Okay? Then we have D. This one's really simple. O. So money, clothes, holiday, women. Money, again, clothes, holiday, and women. Alright? And then we have E. We have you. So buy, put. You see the difference between buy and put? Up and use. Okay? Now, let's move on to exercise 2. Which pair of vowels is missing from each set of words, and what is the sound in each word going to be like? Okay, so now instead of being a single vowel that's missing, it's going to be a pair of vowels, so that means 2 vowels connected together. So, what's going to be number 1, you guys? Or A? That's right, we're going to use O and U. So country, U, and house, right? And then for B, we have E and A together. So mean, early, breakfast. Again, mean, early, and breakfast. Okay? Now let's go to C. We'll use double O. So balloon, cook, good. So balloon and good sound nothing alike. But again, like I said, Same vowels or pair of vowels, but different pronunciation. Then we have D, E, and I. So there, receive, neighbor. Okay? So there, receive, and neighbor. And finally we have E. This will be I and E. So fields, friends, and countries. Okay? Now let's read the skills check 1. Now, I didn't want to actually read this. I wanted to solve this before, so now you guys will get a better idea of what I'm talking about. So with one letter, okay, so here are some examples of different sounds from a single vowel, like we just said. So happen, last, says, and want. Okay, so again, different vowels, they can be single or pair, right? So a pair of vowels or a single vowel, and they're still going to sound different in each word. It depends. Okay? And here's a friendly tip that's going to really help you a lot, is always learn the spelling of the vowel sound, right, in a new word, because, you know, pronunciation in English can be really tricky. So make sure you know the spelling of the vowel and its sound as well. Okay? Now let's go to using time prepositions. Let's just hop to the skills check 2 first. So we have the most common time prepositions are in, on, at. And these are the most common. There are obviously more, but these are what are mostly used on a day-to-day basis. And I think you guys are really familiar with time prepositions. So we use in when talking about something that's more than a day. So for example, in July, in August, in December, right? We use on to talk about a specific day. So for example, on Monday, on Friday, on Wednesday, on Sunday. Okay? And we use at for different parts of the day, specific parts of a day. So for example, at 7:30 p.m., at 6:30 p.m., at 7 a.m. All of these are parts of a day. Okay? However, now take a look at this, and this is where a lot of students can get confused. These are some common exceptions that you got to keep in your head when using time prepositions. So if I say in the morning, it's correct. Although morning is a part of the day, I don't say at the morning. I say in the morning. Okay? So at the weekend, on the weekend. Okay? These are some common exceptions that you always got to be aware of. Okay? Now let's go to exercise B here. Here we have write the correct preposition in each space. So what's number 1 going to be, you guys? I want you guys to solve this actually. So pause the video right now, pause it, and come back. Okay? So what's number 1? That's correct. We're going to use in. It's a date and it's more than a day. So in 1890. 2, what is it going to be? That's right. We're going to use at. So at 4 p.m. Then we have 3, April. Simple. In April, right? And dash April dash June. You guys remember from and to? That's correct. So from April to June. Okay? 5, we'll use at. So at Eid. Then we have 6 dash 5 days. So we'll use for 5 days. Okay? Many years. For, again, many years. And we have 8, 10th March. So 10th March will be on. Okay? So on March, or on the 10th of March. Okay? And then we have 9, National Day. What do you guys think? Again, on, that's correct. On National Day. And we have 10, night. Okay, so night, what is it? It's part of a day, so we'll use at. There's no thinking. Easy. And we have 11, again, from and to. So from morning to night. Okay? So in 1890, at 4 p.m. in April, from April to June, at Eid, for 5 days, for many years, on 10th March, on National Day, at night, and from morning to night. Okay? Now let's move on. Okay, so exercise C is going to be entirely up to you. So answers are going to be entirely up to you as a student, but I'll give you some examples. So we have using fixed phrases of time. So now you're going to complete the sentences with a possible time word or period in each space. You can also invent the details, by the way, so they don't have to be correct information. You can just write them down and invent the details as you go. So if I say the festival was first celebrated in, what can I say after that? I can probably say the festival was first celebrated in 1875, 1962. That is correct, right? So this is what I'm trying to tell you guys about. Or the festival was first celebrated in August, for example, or August 1950, right? All of these are correct answers, right? But you just gotta go and use time prepositions correctly. So you gotta differentiate between in, on, at, from, to. Okay? So let's go to 2. At one time, it lasted for what? What do you think? It lasted for, we can probably say, a day and a half. Or I mean, I'm just making things up as I go here. So at one time it lasted for a day, right? Makes sense. I didn't really use many time prepositions here, but you can. This is entirely up to you. Okay? Now, pause the video, do it, and let's move on. So here we have exercise D, identifying a new skill. Let's go to skills check 3 here so we know what we're getting ourselves into. So we often want to compare actions or ideas. So when we want to talk about comparing actions or ideas, we have 2 options. So you can use a pair of fixed phrases, so phrases that are fixed to introduce the actions or ideas that you want to talk about. So for example, in some countries, and then keep going, or in other countries, and keep going, these are called fixed phrases. Okay? You can also say, some people believe that. I'm pretty sure you guys read that a lot. Other people say that. All of these are fixed phrases. Okay? But what if you don't want to use fixed phrases? What can you do? It's real simple. So you can use things like at one time and then add your own past simple. You could also say nowadays and add your own present simple. Or you could say before the day, again with a past simple, or on the day with a present simple. So you guys will get the idea once I correct the mistakes here. So we have, we're going to read the text here, right? And we have 7 mistakes in the text below, and we're going to have to correct all of them. And most of these mistakes are going to be the confusion between past simple and the present simple. Okay? So here we have, let me actually get my notes out. So we have New Year's Day, right? So we'll start at a time. You'll see it's actually not all of these mistakes are going to be past simple and present simple. Okay? So I just noticed this right now. So at a time, it's actually wrong. We'll say at one time. Okay? So you don't say you don't usually start a text with at a time. When people start, or when people are going to say something historic or a story, they say at one time. Okay? So at one time, New Year's Day was celebrated on 15th March in Europe. Okay? Nowadays, it has been celebrated on 1st January. Can you guys tell me where the problem is? That's right. Nowadays, it has been is wrong, right? We're going to get rid of has been, and we'll say is. Nowadays, it is celebrated on 1st January, right? That makes a lot more sense. Other people believe that's wrong. Not other, but some. I didn't talk about some people to talk about the other. I never said some to begin with, okay? So some people believe that it is lucky to clean the house on New Year's Day. Other people are saying, this one's wrong by the way, that you should eat a particular kind of food to get good luck for a year. So other people are saying is wrong. We can just say, right? So other people say that you should eat a particular kind of food to get good luck for the year. Okay? At some countries, this is wrong. We talked about this. At is wrong here. So in some countries, people spend the day with their relatives. Okay? Before day, obviously missing a the here. So T-H-E. So not before day, before the day. In the UK, people send cards. On the day, there are going to be football matches. This one's wrong. And a big parade through the center of London. There are going to be football matches is wrong. Okay, so we'll say there are, not here, are going to be. We'll change that to simple are. We'll say football matches, right? So in the UK, people send cards. On the day, there are football matches, or I mean, it's an extra football matches here, so we can just use our save. There are football matches and a big parade through the center of London. Okay? So these were some of the mistakes in exercise D. Now, let's move on. Okay, so again, these are, or this, I should say, is an exercise for you guys. So that's called practicing a new skill. So now you're going to practice what we just learned in exercise D here. Here we have complete each pair of sentences in skills check 3. Okay, so here we have at one time, nowadays, some people believe that, with true information from your own knowledge. Okay, so for example, I can say in some countries, people celebrate Christmas, right? That's correct. In other countries, people celebrate the birth of Prophet Muhammad, right? Some people believe that, we can say, some people believe that the earth is flat. Although I think that's really stupid, but that's not our topic, right? I'm just explaining. So some people believe that the earth is flat, right? And other people say that the world is progressing very quickly. Okay, so these are all true information from my own knowledge. This will be entirely up to you. Okay, so now we'll go over the vocab box and then we'll move on to the next page. So we have change, clean, let off, luck, New Year's Day, and relative. Okay, now let's move on to the next page. Alright you guys, so now moving on to the next page, and here we have the final 2 pages of this writing section. So here we have 1.12, applying new writing skills, and we're going to be talking about Thanksgiving, or rather writing about it. Okay, so let's start again with the vocab. Here we have reviewing vocab and grammar. There is one wrong word in each sentence, so find it and correct it. So in every sentence here, there's going to be one wrong word or misuse of a word, okay? So let's start with number 1. So we have, the festival is first celebrated hundreds of years ago. Where do you guys think the problem is? That's correct. Is wrong here. It's in the past, so we'll say was. Okay, so the festival was first celebrated hundreds of years ago. Let's go to number 2. The festival takes part on the first Monday of June. What do you guys think? That's correct. Part here is wrong. It takes place, not part. Okay? So, place on the first Monday of June. Okay? The festival takes 1 day. So it doesn't take 1 day. It lasts 1 day. Okay? So, again, misuse of the word takes. So it lasts 1 day. Okay? Then we have number 4. According of tradition, the event was originally a harvest festival. So according to, not according of tradition. You guys notice that? So according to tradition, not of. So according to tradition, the event was originally a harvest festival. Okay, number 5. Some people speak that the festival started in the 17th century. Okay, so speak here is wrong. Again, misuse of the word speak in this sentence. So here we can actually say both say and believe. So if I say, right? Some people say that the festival started in the 17th century. This is correct. I could also say some people believe that the festival started in the 17th century. That's also true. Okay, so both are correct. Then we have number 6. Other people say that it began in the 16th century. This one's a little bit tricky. What do you guys think the problem is? That's correct. Here we have 16 and not 16th. Okay? So we'll have to write down 16th. Okay? That th at the end. Okay? Then we have number 7. Special sports events are holding on the day. What do you guys think? That's correct. Hold is wrong. We're in the past. So special sports events are held on the day, right? So holding is wrong. It's held. Okay? So special sports events are held on the day. Then we have 8. On the evening, there is a big dinner for all the family. So we don't use on with evening. Again, wrong time preposition. So it'll be in. Okay, let me write that I in capital. So, in the evening, there is a big dinner for all the family. And we have number 9. Before start the meal, the family say prayers. Okay, so again, wrong tense. So before starting, not start the meal. So before starting, now it makes a lot more sense. So before starting the meal, the family say prayers. Okay? And finally, we have number 10. Everyone give thanks for something, for example, good health. Again, the word is correct, it's just missing an S here. So, everyone gives thanks for something, okay? Now it's a lot more understandable. Everyone gives thanks for something, for example, good health, okay? So that was the review vocab. Now, let's move on. Here we have be thinking and organizing. So you're going to describe another festival. Read the research notes opposite. Okay, so let's go to the opposite text. Here we have Thanksgiving, and that's what I want you guys to do when writing down your essay about, a certain festival is use the 3 sections. So introduction, right? Give a brief introduction about your festival, its origins, okay? And then talk about it, before, or how do people prepare for the festival, and then what do people do on the day of the festival, okay? So we have introduction, North America, the act of giving thanks. For origins, we can talk about different origins of Thanksgiving. So first, it was introduced in 1621. It was to give thanks for harvest, right? And then it was no longer connected with harvest. It was a day of fasting and prayer originally, right? And then it was changed to Thanksgiving Festival in 1623. That's when it also started to rain during prayers, okay? And then we have Thanksgiving today, right? So before the day, children made special things at school, or make special things at school. People make special clothes for parade, right? For people to parade the streets. Lorries decorated with figures, large balloons attached to lorries, and also figures of animals and cartoon characters, okay? And on the Thanksgiving Day, lorries drive through streets, special sports events, for example, U.S. football. And in the evening, there is one big family dinner. And before the meal starts, this one's a big one actually for a lot of people that celebrate Thanksgiving, is praying, giving thanks to God for, good health, food, friends, neighbors, etc. Right? And they usually eat turkey, pot roasts, and pumpkin pie, right? I think that one's mostly tradition, okay? So now let's go back to exercise B. Here we have thinking and organizing. So 1, how many sections are there in the essay? What do you guys think? I literally just said this. That's right, we have introduction, origins, and Thanksgiving today, so 3 sections, right? Now, let's go to number 2. What is the main tense in each section? Okay, and why? Okay, so for the first section, it's present, right? We're talking about the present because it's general facts, right? I'm not going to talk in the past about general facts. And for the second section, so origins. Now I'm talking about the past here because it's the origins. It's literally the past, okay? And finally we have the third section, Thanksgiving today. It's present because we're giving routines and certain rituals for or of the festival, okay? So what else do we have? We have read these skills, check. Okay, so now let's take a look here. We have descriptive essays. A descriptive essay provides a description about something. So it's not a regular essay. What you're going to be writing down is a descriptive essay. And what is a descriptive essay? It's an essay that provides a description about something. So how it happens, how it looks, how it feels, and how it sounds, etc. obviously, right? So for example, you can describe an annual festival in one or more countries. And you can give details of the origins of the festival, like we just said, and the way it is celebrated today, right? You can also state the differences between the festival, or how the festival has changed throughout history, because a lot of festivals change with tradition and culture-wise over time. Okay? Now let's go to exercise C, writing. Here we have use the writing plan on page 34 to write about Thanksgiving. Okay, so you can, I'm actually going to give you a choice here. You can write about Thanksgiving if you want, or if you want to talk about, another festival, that's also up to you. So just remember to use the present simple and past simple passive where possible. Obviously, I'm not forcing you to do anything, but make sure this one's really important. Use the correct time prepositions. You guys remember the mistakes that we saw here? These can mess you up real bad, so make sure that your time prepositions are on point. You can go back in the video and check the time prepositions again, okay? And you could use fixed phrases to compare. So for example, at one time, and I talked about this a couple minutes ago in the other lesson, okay? So that's writing. Then we have D, editing. Okay, so this one's gonna be, again, entirely up to you, because here the book wants you to compare your essay with your partner. So if you're with your partner, you can go ahead and give different markings and other systems with your friends. But for now, I don't think you need to do that. You just have to research and write your own descriptive essay, right? Now, here's a little bit of a tricky one that I want you guys to focus on. So, rewriting. So, you might not write all the things or get everything right the first time. That's totally normal. So, you could make some time preposition mistakes, you could make some fixed phrases, or you might forget to write them down. That's totally fine. So what I want you to do is read your essay again, and you can be your own judge. So if you think that it's not the best essay out there, you could always rewrite it again. I mean, this is a writing lesson after all, okay? So more practice never hurts, alright? So I think that's about it, guys. Let's just go through the vocab box, and then I'll see you in the next one. So we have attach, balloon, harvest, originally, rain, turkey. Okay, so that was the writing section, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.